Good evening. Welcome
Hi.
everyone. Hi. So, viewers, participants, people who have logged in from remote, who are watching this session, waiting for this session, we have here Kiki Okwale, and
Yeah.
she is a multifaceted personality, and she's into personal and business growth coach. She's a business growth coach, and she's a philanthropist. She's a serial entrepreneur, fashion designer, motivational speaker, and a stylish expert. Wow. And she has also launched her foundation, Kiki Okwale Foundation, and she derives joy by giving her resources and time and energy to see other people grow. That's very interesting and fabulous. That's a very beautiful quality of a person. Very happy to have you here, Kiki. And we're
Thank you so
also
much.
very happy to confer you upon this exceptional leader of excellence. And the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here today. So when I was told I'm going to be talking about celebrating who you are, that really resonated with me. But before I go ahead, I just want to say that for so many years, I have watched videos of people speaking on international platforms, and I wondered, how did they get here? Out of all the billions of people in the world, how did they do something so phenomenal, to get to a level where they can speak on international platform? And so as I find myself here today speaking and sharing the platform with so many amazing people from different parts of the world, wow, I can't but say, Kiki, thank you. And I'm saying thank you to myself for taking the decision, to know who I am, to not give up on myself, and to choose to celebrate myself, which is exactly what I'm talking about today. So I'm just going to share as I journey through life. As a little girl, I struggled with my identity, just like a lot of people. I've spoken to a lot of people over the course of the years, and I realized that a lot of people struggle with the identity, just like I did once upon a time. I didn't know who I was. And so when people labeled me as, not good enough, I accepted it. When they tell me, oh, you're ugly, I accepted it. When they say you're not, you can't sit in our circle, I accepted it. The reason I accepted it because I didn't know who I was. I didn't have my own identity. And I believe that the only true happiness lies in knowing who you truly are and celebrating yourself for it. It's very, very important. And the truth is, if you don't know who you are as a person, everyone in the world will tell you who you're meant to be. They'll tell you the version of you they expect you to be. And because you don't know who you are, it's easier for you to just get confused. This person tells you you're this person tells you you're that. I was a young girl at the age of 11, and I was so optimistic. I had great plans, so many. I was full of energy. But my life, ended 11-year-old girl when I lost my father. Everything as I knew it was never going to be the same again, but I didn't know it then. But my life changed. My life changed. Just so I'm clear, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, you are audible. Yes.
All right, okay. All right, so my father was my hero, and then he died and he left me in this world. I came from a very rich, comfortable family. And in the middle of the night, just with a switch of a finger, everything changed. My life that I knew had come to an end. And I felt that cosmic change. I just knew that, something had happened and my life was never going to be the same again. And in a matter of days, all my fears came to reality. And all the privileges and all the luxuries and the lifestyle I was used to was taken away just overnight. And at that point, everyone looked at me like that, that spoiled child to anything since her father was gone. I believed it myself because I never thought that I could do anything without him. And so we lost our homes, we lost the comfort, and we were barely living. We were barely living. And my mom sold everything she had, even up to her outfits, just to make sure that we could have a living and we could live a life. And looking back now, I'm always moved to tears when I talk about things like this, because it was a massive change. And at that point, I didn't even know who I was, talk less of accepting me or even celebrating myself. Why did it happen to me? I kept asking myself. And like every other person who goes through, a sudden change, we go through this layer of denial, anger, confusion. I was after the future. I was disappointed. I blamed myself. I blamed others. I blamed my father. I blamed God. I was depressed. And after a while, I just had to accept my situation. And then I asked myself this very important question. How would I survive in such a cruel world? How would I survive in such a wicked world? That was the next thing that came to my mind. And one day was all it took for me to take that decision and say, you know what? I'm not going to be what these people say I am. I'm going to take my life in my hands. I'm going to make a decision to make the best out of my life. And so I made a decision to say that I am enough. I made a decision to say that my father passing was not going to stop my future. I made a decision to say that I am not a failure. I am beautiful. The world needs me. So I started saying all these things, and I started asking myself, and I told myself, only you can do this. No one is going to help me. If you want to lose weight and you keep going to the gym, nobody is going to help you do the exercise. You have to make that decision, and you have to work hard to achieve exactly what you want to achieve. So I said to myself that I'm not going to wait for anyone, and I'm not going to let what people say define me. I decided that enough was enough. And it took just one day. Of course, a series of events, but I made that decision one day that I had to just do something with myself. And I know that a lot of people are going through things right now, and there's a lot of identity crises. Even with the pandemic, people are wondering, what does the future have for them? What are they going to do with their life? I mean, we have all gone through that emotional roller coaster. And I said, it was time to know who I was and my purpose. What is my purpose here on earth? That was what I asked myself. At that point, I was so uncomfortable with the projections people had over my life. I didn't know my place in the world. I just knew I had to be more. So I wrote down the list of the things that, all the things they said I couldn't do, all the things they said I couldn't become. And then I started putting the opposite. When you say that, I'm going to be poor, I put it there that I'm going to be rich. When they say that I'm not going to amount to anything, I put it there that I'm going to be everything that God has deposited inside of me. And I kept repeating and saying I was going to be everything they said I wouldn't be. And I began to imagine. I imagined myself in a world where I would live on my own terms, where I would define who I was, in a world where I had a say. I imagined myself in a world where I would share my story to other young children, just like, I've been doing over the years, just to let them know that they don't have to give up on themselves or let the world define them. I wanted to be more. I wanted to do more. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make a world a better place. Because when you are low, when you've hit rock bottom, the truth of the matter is there's really nothing you can do that to just tell yourself to bounce back. And at that point, I had nothing to lose, absolutely nothing. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go all out. So at the age of 11, my dad passed. Age of 12, I started working. Age of 16, I was already a manager. And when I was in uni, I was doing diploma. I was going to work. I was, mixing everything together just so that I can and show other people that you can set your mind to nice immediately. but as you journey through life, I've been able to identify myself because of all the different experiences I have had through life. And so that's why I'm able to know my identity now. It is not a fixed thing. You're knowing who you are and celebrating yourself, it changes. It's not a fixed thing because, life, we're constantly changing. And our experiences in life mold us to be who we are. So perhaps you have been weighed down by expectations of your parents or people that you hold in high esteem. They might have their own ideas of who you should be. And sometimes people don't mean bad. They just want you to be that thing they feel that's the best you can be. They tell you what you should. Then suddenly something happened. It makes you question who you are. And it leaves you very, very desperate. And you have this crisis. And this is where the classic midlife crisis comes into play. And to be honest, these days, it's not even midlife anymore. It's quarter life. You see people at the age of 20, 30, they're going through crises, identity crisis. They want to identify who they are because the world is changing, everything is changing. So I just want to share 3 things I did to know who I was and to start celebrating myself, because that's the main reason why we're here. I want everyone to take these 3 things and work with it to make sure you identify who you are and you start celebrating yourself. Because if you don't celebrate yourself, people are not going to celebrate you. And the first thing I did was I accepted the reality. I stopped living in denial. I purpose for my life. For some, I didn't want to accept that this is. Accept the reality of where you are right now. Because if you keep living in denial, you're not going to be able to work towards achieving that great purpose that you want to achieve. And then ask yourself, what is your life purpose? When people mention you, what do you want them to remember you for? When people mention me, what do I want them to remember me for? Do you want to live a life of service? Do you want to live a life of giving? Do you want to help children? Do you want to help adults? Do you want to make sure that other people are also living a life of purpose? Because that's also you living a life of purpose, helping other people identify who they are, which is one area that I've taken really personal, to help thousands and millions of people identify who they are so they can start celebrating themselves. One other thing I did was I considered what my core values were. I asked myself, what are the things that are very, very important to me? What are the thoughts? Because when you identify your core values, the thoughts and the things that come to your mind, the actions you take, everything comes out from you identifying what your key values are. Are you very big on integrity? Are you very big on fairness? Are you very big on accountability? Are you very big on helping others?
Kiki, that was a valuable session. In fact, we are running short of time. We would love to hear you more. And those 3 values and your beautiful life experience, that stay focused, things will fall into place. And
yes.
It's absolutely beautiful. We would love to hear you, but since we are running short of time, we would definitely take in your beautiful life lessons. And indeed, you're beautiful. That's a very nice way to put in change the mind frame from blame frame to moving to the outcome frame. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I'm actually done. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.